Going on, guys? Bart here with Tully Television. I want to thank all of you for stopping by, liking, commenting, sharing, all that beautiful YouTube stuff. Only together can we go straight to the moon, baby. And I had to redo Daredevil episode 2 from season 2 because I totally messed up in the last video with something. I thought a different character was revealed to be somebody, and I was totally wrong because I totally lost it there for a minute. So I took down the review I did for this episode to update my mistake, obviously. And again, we're doing Daredevil Born Again, Season 2, Episode 2. And in this particular episode, they dropped episode 2 and 3. I'm going to do a separate review on that one. I kind of want to do a different a review for each episode, so to speak, for this particular show. And of course, we pick up with partial continuation from last episode where Matt was talking to Cherry, the investigator for the law firm there, who's mainly been working with Matt's partner, right? But we want to remember that not many people know Matt's secret, okay? Cherry, there was even a joke, I believe, in the first episode where he's like, it'd kind of be nice to start getting paid or whatever, right? And so it really will go to show you how much of an ally he is for Matt and what the game plan is, right, for the overall mission of taking Fisk out of office. But we start off with Bullseye referencing a character by the name of Sister Maggie. Now, I want to mention how I think my initial theory is, because I kind of looked it up to see if I was on the right track with this or not, or if I'm just like reaching for straws here. He mentioned Sister Maggie. Now, Maggie is a derivative name of Mary, okay? Now, this could be an iteration of Typhoid Mary, because the Typhoid Mary we got from the first Daredevil series, or more so the Iron Fist series, that's not so much canon. They cherry picked, so to speak, what they're keeping in as canon, the MCU and Kevin Feige. So I don't know if they're trying to attempt to make a new Typhoid Mary character here that's in working with Bullseye. That could be an interesting thing that they do there, okay? Typhoid Mary is very much entrenched in Daredevil's history, and she's a mutant, and has been an assassin for Kingpin. But if this is going to wind up being Typhoid Mary, she's connected with Bullseye, who's out to get Kingpin. So we'll see if I'm even on the right track with this. This could just be a family member or someone that he knows that's not even Daredevil character from the previous universe or comic books there. So that's my theory on that. That's where we leave off with Bullseye, so to speak, for the moment. Because, like I said, he does meet them in a church. We get an interesting thing that happens is we get Kingpin kind of holding a press conference because he's having frustration not being able to find Daredevil or Matt Murdock. So what he did, his plan was to hold a news conference about how Matt Murdock might be missing and even missing his memory. And he wants to find Matt Murdock because he wants to thank him so much for saving his life. All while knowing that Matt Murdock is Daredevil. So if he gets his hands on Matt, he gets his hands on Daredevil. So that's an interesting ploy to use Kingpin Wilson is always a character that seems to have a step ahead of everyone. He is a very smart man, even though he uses his mind for devious things, you know. But it's we know that Kingpin is not ever going to be fully satisfied with life, because every time he gets to a level, he's always got to then proceed to the next level and the next level and the next level, and usually doesn't always work out for these villains, so to speak. um, all right, so Fisk winds up sending people to the hospital, his goon squad, so to speak, to get Cherry. Because if we remember, Cherry had a heart attack last episode, and being Bullseye saved Matt and Cherry, there was able to be a call to 911, and Cherry got to go to the hospital. But when Kingpin sent his men there to kind of take out Cherry, give him that full treatment, wink, wink, Cherry had a bunch of friends there that kind of know what the deal is, what the dealio is, right? Real hardened dudes, so to speak. And they can't do nothing because there's a bunch of dudes there. And one of the cops was even like, well, you got a warrant or whatever, like, so when they left, Bullseye wound up taking out two of the task members. And I thought that was pretty... Bullseye is all over the place. He's going to be all over this episode and this series. I like how they kind of maybe made him a Punisher type of character in this series, because maybe you can't always have Bernthal there, right? I mean, he's probably going to eat up some of the budget that you're trying to save because of his, pricing. He's a good actor. So you can't always have the Punisher in and out, in and out. But I'm thinking Bullseye is going to kind of be that Punisher character, because he's not on the path of a criminal necessarily at this moment. But what is his goal going to be after Wilson is taken out? Are you going to go back to your villainous ways, or are you going to continue to do the right thing using your force? We'll see. This Bullseye seems to be a bit more interesting to follow. So I'm kind of curious where he's going to wind up coming across this in the future. So Cherry's now underground. Bullseye's going here and there, cleaning up these guys here and there. Fisk confronts his assistant, the Gandolfini, the guy Gandolfini, who plays the assistant to Wilson. He questions him finally about the fake Kingpin are doing the underground videos. The female assistant kept telling him, you should tell him, you should tell him, you should tell him. But the thing is, that was his computer used to upload these videos. And in essence, if he confesses to Wilson that he knows who it is, by default, it's going to be hard for him to explain how he was with this person, around this person so long, without realizing it, and that was your computer that was used for these messages to be uploaded and disseminated to the public, making, again, Wilson look bad. Wilson is trying to keep a stranglehold on all of this. So Gandolfini I'm just going to call him Gandolfini for this part. He's knowing, I think the knowledge is hitting him, because it's even said throughout this episode by Wilson's assistant, his new assistant, that, he's starting to grow on him a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, he's smarter than what people give him credit for. But Wilson isn't a stupid man either. He hasn't gotten to where he's gotten by just blindly believing the people around him. He likes Gandolfini's character. He wants him to mold him, but he's seeing hesitation there. And I'm afraid that eventually the ruse may come to an end, and I'd really hate to see what will happen if Wilson fully finds out that he knew what was going on, even though not involved, but his lack of communication is what may take him down. We'll see. I'm hoping for the best for this character because his character isn't a bad dude necessarily. He's just a young dude, and he's having all these, like, he's living in a nice penthouse at a reduced price in Manhattan. He's having friends over. He's got a little girl in BB that he likes. So to him, he's like, I'm doing these iffy things, or I'm supporting iffy things, but I'm not doing iffy things yet. But eventually in this life, you're eventually going to have to do some things. Excuse me. Mrs. Fisk gets a gun, winds up getting a gun from the assistant that kind of deals with Wilson's everyday things that he needs help with. I'm assuming that Wilson doesn't know this because he wasn't involved in this, but she's taking her safety into her own hands, no matter what side of the bench you sit on. That's always a smart idea. I still feel iffy about her, like she's ultimately playing her own long game on Wilson. Vanessa, you wouldn't do that to me, would you? I think she would, whatever it is. But again, we'll see. They seem to be in love and stuff, but is her eventual hunger for power going to lead her to betraying Kingpin herself, or being the linchpin in which everything causes it to blow up in Wilson's face? We'll see. Karen and Matt were keeping an eye on the cargo ship because they're unloading the cargo ship that was semi-sank in episode 1. And it seems like the freight is diapers, right? Because there's a bunch of press there and stuff. So they're making it look like there's no weapons delivery there at all. It's only diapers, guys. Come on. But Matt and Karen incognito keeping an eye on the shipment and what they're doing while unloading this from a distance. So they're keeping an eye on that. But Matt is realizing he's eventually going to have to go in there before it's completely, everything is taken, because they're trying to take out the Kingpin in a legitimate way instead of just doing the obvious thing and just taking him out with a pew-pew, right? But they're trying to do it the right way. Matt is leading this, so to speak, and Karen is trying to be on board with everything, okay? The girl connected to the first White Tiger that we've seen in season 1, she was out, right? And excuse me if I don't remember this right off the bat. I'm assuming it's her mother, or the woman that she was with is a family member. And when they went into a convenience store, as they were coming home at night, the niece, the young girl, right, realized she's seen some of her friends there. They were talking as the lady was shopping for the things they needed for the night. And the store owner realized that the kids she was talking to were stealing. And so he whipped out a pew-pew and was very much like, give me that stuff back or whatever. And the mother, I believe it's her mother or her aunt. I'm sorry if I can't remember right now. That's my bad. She's now trying to calm down the escalation. Like, yo, relax. Relax, bro. We don't need to be shooting kids. You know what I mean? Not yet. Anyway, like almost like they're at worst they're stealing 40s, right? At worst. At best they're stealing soda and cupcakes of candy. Okay, and at that time, Wilson Fisk's task force storms the store and takes just about everyone in there except for, the young girl. And she makes her way to Matt and his partner's law office. And she's explaining to the female lawyer what happened. And she's like, oh man, that's Fisk's people. And God knows where they're at right at the moment. And while they're talking, she notices that the White Tiger suit is there with the amulet that grants the powers of the White Tiger to this family of this certain bloodline. And so eventually, we know that this young girl is going to become the White Tiger because of that's how it went in the comic books. But she seems to gonna have a big role here in the series because when I do my season episode 3 review, we'll see what she's been up to since this episode, right? So that I'm gonna be kind of interested in where her story goes because she has moxie for sure, right? That's not a doubt. You got moxie, kid. But who's going to train her? Is Matt going to train her? Is she going to have someone else train her? Only time will tell. I'm assuming it's going to be Matt who trains her because she's in the Daredevil show. Okay. Again, back to Gandolfini here, Wilson's aide. He starts talking to BB. She comes over, BB Orrick, and they're having dinner, and he confronts her about the fake Kingpin setup. Is that her? Basically, he questions her and what she's been up to, and she kind of denies that she's doing that. And he's like, okay, because I'd really hate to, basically putting it to where, like, I'm asking you to be honest now. Now is the time to be honest with me. And if you're not, then, and I find out a certain thing later, I would almost feel the same way because like if someone's using my computer and they know that I'm working for basically the crime boss of New York City, and that if he finds out it's my computer that I can die because he thinks that I'm the guy that's snitching or doing this thing against him, you're putting me in that position. You already put me in that position. I'm asking you nicely, is this you? And you're denying me, and I find out later, man, I'm almost not going to feel sorry to what happens to her, even though she's a nice woman and she's trying to do the right thing, but you're using me knowing that I could very well be taken out by this person. You're using me as a scapegoat. So how nice of a person really are you then at the end of the day? You're doing this for your Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben? But you're not caring about who I'm an uncle to, right? You're not caring who's going to grieve over me if Wilson Fisk thinks I'm the one turning on him. And we wind up finding out pretty much that it is BB who is the fake Kingpin at the end of this episode. And I like to see how that winds up turning out for everyone. Matt and Karen do wind up getting their home raided by Wilson's people. Matt gears up and he takes a lot of them out. Karen comes across one and was able to capture them through giving him some moves and stuff. And she was able to tie him up. And that's where we end the episode. Karen and Matt in a position to kind of question this guy and try to get some intel. You tell me what you think about this series so far. I'm digging it. Two episodes in. There's episode 3 that I'll do a review to in the next couple days. I hope that all of you who celebrate Easter have a wonderful Easter. And until next time, peace, Schnickums.